Today's training is sponsored by Cheese Cracker Funding. This is in honor of Matt and Nick DeHane. They're going to be coming down tomorrow and spending a couple of days with us here at the corporate office. And they always give me a hard time when I talk about some people's credit are so bad we shouldn't loan them money for a pack of cheese crackers. So he sent me this T-shirt and he wanted me to wear it today, but I'm not going to put that thing on. But I will tell you that I'm excited about them coming. Today I want to spend about 15 minutes with you on a couple of topics. And let's get started now. All right, guys, I'm going to talk about tempering client expectations and give you an example of what I'm talking about. Then we're going to talk a little bit about some of the new laws that are being enacted throughout the country in regards to financial disclosures. Then we're going to have the top fundings of the week and answer any questions. Our lender partners are the ones who establish and determine all the risk on the file, guys, not Bank Breezy. And sometimes they're going to fund 200% of the monthly average revenue, but in other times it could be anywhere from between 50% and 200%. That's really based on risk factors that are stuff like current MCA deals that they already have in place, past payment performances with those MCAs, number of deposits, credit score of owners, business type, change of banks recently. If they changed the bank, they want to know why they changed the bank. Did they do it because they took funding and they want to walk away from it? That happens a lot. So they want to find out that. SOS status, and that status is the Secretary of State. Are they up to date? Because you have to be active with the Secretary of State. If not, then had one pretty good size one this past week that we had to, they literally had to go on and pay their $50 fee, which is their annual fee with the Secretary of State for 2 years, and they got it back active and everything was fine. They look at background reports as well as a whole set of rules that they have in-house that determine whether they're going to fund that type of file. This week, we had what I call a seasoned DAC broker speak with me about why in the world we couldn't offer her downline agent's client $300,000 instead of the $62,000 that we did provide. Of course, she didn't have any of the facts to really have that conversation. But once I explained to her about the revenue that's coming in and what we offered, she totally understood. But her downline agent was looking at this client was doing $27,000 average over the last 3 months, which is somewhere around $70,000, $80,000. So she was thinking they were going to get $200,000 to $300,000 offer, which is still way more than 200%. The reality is we made an offer to them, and I'm showing this is the exact offer that we made, which happens to be 220% of whatever the monthly revenue average is, which is pretty good. This is an insurance company. They're when I say company, it's a broker, but he's doing really well, or she's doing really well. And this particular lender partner made a $62,000 offer. Remember, on a $27,000 a month average, over 18 months, a weekly payment, 2.5% lender fee, and then they're going to pay back $85,932, which is about a 1.386 over 18 months. So when you do your average on that, and you want to try to figure what's the effective rate over a year for that money, so you basically take that factor rate, divide it by 18 months and multiply by 12, and it's about 25%. About 25.7% annual cost of funds, which is really good in our industry. But this person's expectations was they wanted $200,000 because that's what they feel like they were led to believe they could get at the beginning. Unfortunately, that's just not the case. And here's a fantastic offer that we probably aren't going to be able to place with the client because of their misunderstanding. Even though I'm trying to get them on the phone to talk to them, they're not talking to me. So this happens, and it is important that agents really do the training and understand that to be honest with you, we can usually get an offer for about 80% of the people out there. And then 80% of them are going to accept it. But when there's misunderstanding involved from the beginning, that 80%, both of those turn to about 60% accepted, or even lower sometimes. Just remember, honesty is the key. I know all of you guys are incredibly honest people, but don't overpromise so that we have to underdeliver. Don't give them any kind of guarantees. Your job is just to get them in there and let us talk to them about what we can do, because remember, we're not a bank. These are not interest rates, they're factor rates. So just wanted to throw that out there. There are a lot of states now that are doing financial disclosures that are being required. If you're a broker and you're submitting to other places like DAC, in these states, I don't want you to submit us any business, because I don't trust that you are working with lenders that will give you the information that you need to present to the client. And we know what we're supposed to present. And that's why when some of you call me and you get upset because I'm not sending you an offer, there's no way I'm going to send it to you. I might talk to you about it, but you can't have those discussions about offers and all that. As more and more states pass laws in reference to required financial disclosure, it becomes more important than ever for brokers to understand just how serious this is, and for them to abide by these state laws. And if you're not getting involved in offers, you don't have to worry about any of this. That is why we're not sending the offers directly to the broker to discuss these offers directly with the clients. We understand that it's your client, but it's also our responsibility to ensure these newly established guidelines are followed. Therefore, please let us help you help your client, and do not be upset if we don't you feel like you're being left in the dark. We got your backs. We're going to do things the right way. I am really kind of excited that there are more and more states are doing that, because more and more brokers are going to find out they need to be part of David Allen Capital, the Bank Breezy platform, when it's all said and done. Here are the states that either passed or have current financial disclosure legislation in process, and all of them will be in effect by January the 1st. That's New York, California, Connecticut, Virginia, Georgia, Florida, Utah, and California. And if you're working in these states, I mean, you don't have to change anything you're doing, except you just cannot present the offers. And if you are presenting offers and you're doing it with another company and you're brokering with us, we don't want your business, honestly, for those states, if you're going to insist on you being the one to present them, because I'm not certain that you've taken the time that we have to really understand what each one of these sets of regulation mean. And here's an example, and these are only, just 3 sections of what you have to do. This comes from one of our lender partners. This is New York and Utah commercial financing disclosures. This is just 3 requirements. The ISO partner shall provide at least 4 months of bank statements with every customer application for a business located in New York. And of course, that's Utah, Virginia, all of them, California. The ISO partner, which is us, shall not provide written offer details, that's purchase price, purchase amount, and any rate, pricing, or cost that are based upon information about the New York merchant before underwriting is complete and the lender has adequately presented the form disclosures. So if you don't have all that stuff, and there are some lenders that we use that won't give us these disclosures in that state, and I won't make their offer. I mean, there are some states you cannot make one offer. You got to make at least 2 offers and give them an opportunity to choose the best. Once a specific offer is selected on the lender's online platform, in this case, the partner calculator is there. You guys don't have one, but we do. The lender will automatically provide the required disclosures, and then we have to know what to do with them. Again, I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just telling you that do what you're doing now. Nothing changes. It's only if you're out there and you're actually presenting offers in those states. Let us do a job. You guys have been great. There's just a couple of you that are, I know, brokering with other companies, because we're becoming your trash can that you can't get funded anywhere else. So you throw them to us and we'll get them funded in a lot of cases. Here are our 5 funded spotlight deals, I should say. I don't want to go over. Number 1, we had a security company in Texas that we gave $70,000 to hire new guards for some upcoming jobs. This is their 2nd funding. They're excited, and I'm going to talk about them in just a couple of minutes. Number 2 is a construction company in Florida, $50,000. They just needed it for materials. some windows and doors and frames and that sort of thing. We had a nonprofit. I threw this one in here because we can fund nonprofits as long as at least 50% of their revenue is from something besides donations. So 10,000 for cost of postage for a huge mailer. And by the way, I don't want you thinking sending us churches is going to work, because most churches won't get funded. So I would say 99% of them won't, because they got too high of a volume of their revenue based on donations. We had a shipping company in Minnesota. We got 125,000 this week for it. So third funding. It's going to be used to secure new business and restore some old equipment. What a great group they are. Then we have a transportation company in Illinois. We did 62,000, guys, and this is their 5th renewal for operational purposes, like fixing broken trucks and trailers. So can we fund the transportation industry? You better believe we can. This is one with really good credit, and we've done a really good job with them. But I want to talk to you about the $70,000 security company. The company shopped our original funding with multiple MCA providers. The Bank Breezy team spent multiple calls, and the owners with them, kind of assuring them that we had the best offer, and they went out there and tried to find something. We did our job. They accepted us, and now the client came across an opportunity for a new security job where they needed about 65,000 to hire and train some new guards. That was a huge opportunity for them, and of course they came to us and with a lot of confidence, and because we did our job up front on the original contact, the client now only works with DAC and Bank Breezy team due to their trust in all of our conversations. So that is a quick one today, but I just wanted to, let me see, get back here. All right, we're over here. I'm just trying to find how to get out of this thing right here. Stop sharing. Okay, there you go. So Morgan, do we have any questions? I know this is quick, but that's what all these 15-minute trainings are about.
Yeah, appreciate you. And we'll go to questions now, guys. Just out of consideration for Wade and the funding team, let's try to keep it to questions pertaining to what he chatted about, or Bank Breezy funding in particular. Any other support questions can go right to support, and we're happy to help you. Let's start with Jesse. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey Wade, thanks for the training. I just had a question about the slide where you said you were talking about the multiple offers
Yep.
for New York and Utah. Is that also applying to California, where they will get basically 2 offers?
Yeah, we got to present 2 offers to pretty much all these states, Jesse, that are now with the disclosure laws. What had happened in the past, they would get multiple offers, but brokers out there were submitting to them the one they made the most commission on, not the best offer. And I'm sure that played a role in all the changes that are taking place.
Okay, well, that makes sense. All right,
thank you.
All right. Next up, we have V. Wright. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello, am I heard?
You are.
Okay. Hello, Wade. Happy Wednesday, everyone. I have 2 questions. The first is, when agents are notified that a client has been funded or non-funded, do the clients get the very same email? For instance, I got an email that my client wasn't funded, and I was given a reason why, but I'm wondering, would the client have been given more information? That's the first question. And the second question deals with the nonprofits. If again, 50% of their revenue is derived from non-donations, would the other requirements in terms of paperwork be the same if they would for a nonprofit business?
Let's answer that one first. Yeah, the answer is yes. As long as 50% of their revenue comes from, like, they have a store, or they got a home there that people pay rent for, or whatever that service that they provide or product is. So that's why we don't really fund churches. And plus, think about it, it's kind of bad if a church defaults, you don't want to go after a church or it just doesn't look, it's not good optics. So we're not funding those. Going to your question though, about, we don't tell you the reason for the fault in writing. We give you a vague answer. And the reason is there's a privacy law out there and we're not going to violate that. Even though you are the broker, if your client wants to tell you why, that's fine. But if your client disputes why, then all they gotta do is contact me or Bank Breezy, I should say, and I'll get on the phone with them, one of our team will, and we'll tell them basically why. And if they dispute that, then we get them to put in writing why they dispute it. We send it to the lender partners and they do their research and they come back with why it happened. I can promise you about 99.9% of the time, the lender partners are absolutely correct, but they don't get the same, they don't necessarily get the same thing you get when on a decline. We just tell them they're not eligible for funding at this time. And if they really want to, you know, when we tell them something about credit, sometimes they get offended and say, my credit's great. Well, the credit qualifications doesn't mean that their FICO was bad. It could mean that a past payment history. It could mean they've got some other issues that we just can't discuss with you, but we can discuss with them.
Okay, I did get a letter that said client declined due to low credit eligibility score. That doesn't
Right.
seem very vague to me. In your terminology, is that considered vague?
Well, it could be because it's not necessarily because, as I just said, it's not necessarily because of FICO. But what if it was because they've got all these bounces of payments in the past and some other history, but their FICO is still around 680, but they could
Right.
have some other issues in their credit. And see, a credit eligibility score is a score that's not based just on FICO, but it might be a 1 to 7 range. It could be a 10 to 40 range, whatever it is. And then they look at that range and they say, okay, this and this are good, but these are bad. So they didn't hit the range of us of the credit that we need, their credit score, not the FICO's credit score, the in-house lender's credit score.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and looks like we have 2 more questions. We will go to Ellen and then James. Ellen, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thank you, Morgan. Hey, Wade, thanks for great training again. We really appreciate the value that you bring to our team every Wednesday with these. We appreciate you taking your time out to do that. My question is, on the initial email that we received from Bank Breezy, we received the customer's name, phone number, and email address. Would it be possible to add a field to see what city and state that client is in for people that are doing social media and different type of advertising, so we can see what methods of reach out are really working for us?
Yeah, I can't change that because that's what David has programmed in the system that he wants, but I think that's a really good idea and I'm gonna pass it along to him today. And you can also pass it along with an email to Tyler and support.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Wade.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you big time.
Appreciate you.
Awesome. And James, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello, Wade.
Hi.
Yes, just a question. I have a customer that's instant funding, and I have been talking to Ellen, and she has been helping me. They keep telling me that they are getting flagged when they submit to get their link, that they're getting flagged by their bank, which is Bank of America. So you have any insight that I could?
Well, I don't know the reasoning for behind that, because if they're doing instant funding, that means they're going through the GIGO process, and we don't even handle the GIGO process here.
Right.
So it may have something to do with the Plaid system. And Morgan, if you'll just ask David to give us an answer to that, then I will not only get you an email answer, and I'll answer it next Wednesday.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, James, I will dig into that. And
I am on if there's something I can answer. I got on late though.
oh no, that's okay. I think it sounds like it's a GIGO question, so I'm happy to handle that. James, if you can actually send an email in either to myself, Morgan at davidallencapital.com, or support, with the client name, and then we can try to help there. All right, thank you. I'll remove that spotlight. And then it looks like V has her hand up once more. Maybe she forgot to ask something. You can go ahead and unmute yourself, V.
Yes, am I heard?
Yes.
Okay, I did have one more question that I forgot to ask, Wade. I'm told that Bank Breezy is thinking about setting up some kind of portal, like a dashboard that clients can go to see sort of the status of their application. Is that correct?
News to me. I don't know anything about that. David might be doing that for his client, I mean, for all the DAC, but we don't have anything in progress right now that I'm aware of. I'll certainly talk to David and ask him.
Yeah,
who.
Let's say this, there's nothing V planned at this point except for the agents where you can log into your portal and see the status of the client, but there's nothing planned for the clients themselves to log into a portal and see the status of their apps. Most of these are in and out within a day, and they're getting email statuses and have phone communication. So generally they've got the status they need. There's one-off situations like you recently had, but it's rare. So no, there's nothing planned at this time.
And you know, Dave, just so you know, V2, like that off situation he was talking about, I mean, that was us going the extra mile to try to see if there's any possible way to get an offer. And I was waiting for a particular underwriter 5 days later. I'm not going to do that anymore. We're going to just go ahead and decline them if we need to. But if you guys watch your files, once we get a full package, I mean, I would say 90% of them are in underwriting that very day with an offer no later than the next morning. Then the other 10% are issued, and we may have with their emails, with their cell phones. See, they actually put their emails and cell phones into a database to see if they're legitimate. So they know that. So they want a legitimate phone and all that before they go through the underwriting process in some cases. So that might be why but we've got hyper speed. As a matter of fact, one agent asked me, he said, how in the world could you possibly have an offer within an hour and a half? Well, I got an offer. I got every one of them came in. Every single one of them came in within that period of time because the file was clean. And that's going to happen. I mean, sometimes within an hour and a half, we can have an offer. And as that person said last week on a call I heard, that we got an offer. I think it was Nick DeHane that said it. We got an offer. The package was there when I at about 8 or 9 o'clock that morning. We got an offer by 2 o'clock and funded that thing by 3:30. And that happens more times than we can really count. So, but anyway, I really appreciate you guys. Unless David, you got anything else to say? If not, I'm gonna sign off.